One of the things I love about the TikTok app is that when you go into your activities button, you can see what videos you posted a year ago or 2 years ago. And today, a video popped up from 2 years ago, which was September 25th, 2022. I don't know if you were on here paying attention back then, but I was talking about a breakup I was going through, and it was a radically loving breakup weekend where my partner, with whom I was breaking up, we were breaking up, came and we spent a weekend together and just cried it out and talked it out and hugged it out. And it was quite ironic because during this breakup weekend, which our relationship had started the week before COVID lockdown, so we really went through COVID together. We were really in a COVID bubble together. On the last day of our breakup weekend, she had a fever and gave me COVID, which 2 days later, I was positive for COVID. And it was also on my birthday, the 29th of September. So that was 2 years ago. And here I am 2 years later. And if you follow me, you know I always talk about 2 years. 2 years to me is a very significant number. It is significant whether you're meeting somebody new and you want to get to know them well enough to know, what would it be like to spend my life with this person? At least some idea. It really takes 2 years to have some idea of how somebody shows up going through ups and downs of life and how they approach difficult situations and, how they regulate themselves or they don't regulate themselves. And so I typically say, please give it 2 years before you decide to get married. And I know lots of people don't do that. And I hear lots of different stories of people not making it very long because they did not wait to make sure that they were compatible. I digress. 2 years also is really significant when you end a relationship and you are devastated and you are heartbroken. And then 2 years from that time, which happens to be today, is when you get to look back and see a different perspective. Now, I'm not saying that there's no more pain, right? There can still be pain, but it is very dull. It is not sharp like it was when it happened. 2 years is enough distance to have perspective. It's enough distance to see what you're grateful for and what you learned and what you know you deserve today and could not get in a relationship. 2 years is significant. So today, on the 2-year anniversary of my breakup, my radically loving breakup weekend, I can say one thing that I learned in this relationship, which I had never learned before, was how to be a pursuer. I have always been more of the distancer, but in this relationship, I was with someone who was really a distancer more than me, so I got to actually pursue. And I have to say, I loved it. I loved feeling that deep desire and want. That was new for me. What I realize now, looking back, is that I also want to be with someone who desires me. I want it to be balanced. I want it to be even. I don't want to be the only person in the desiring position. So I've learned that about myself. And I've learned a lot of other beautiful things through 2 years perspective, looking back on what it was, the few times during those 2 years that we tried to reconnect and make it into something again, and finally just understanding that it wasn't really meant to be, and it was beautiful for what it was, but to let it go and just be grateful for what I learned and what I received from this relationship. So for those of you out there that are at that place where you're just at the end of a relationship and you don't know how you're ever going to recover, I can tell you I felt the same exact way. And here I am 2 years later, and I am in a very different place. There is absolutely hope you will recover.